On the recruiting front, yeah, I don't think this loss is going to hurt too much on the recruiting front, to be honest. It's a good point, and it's natural to worry about it. Offensively, that might be the one concern when you look at if you're trying to make a pitch to some of the guys like an Evan Stewart and but again, you're able to get. I think A&M was able to get the receivers involved a little bit with Anaya Smith with 5 catches for 77 yards, Jalen Weidemeyer with 5 for 68, and Damon Demas with 5 for 43. You flashed a little bit on the receiving end, but truthfully, this was an SEC game going on the road. And so it's not a terrible loss on that front. I mean, give Ole Miss credit. Ole Miss is a team that could be playing for a New 6 bowl berth in a couple weeks when they face Mississippi State. And so it's not the type of loss I don't think that's going to ding you from a recruiting perspective, especially given that A&M was coming off a 4-game winning streak. Now, I do think it is important, though, to finish strong. You mentioned Prairie View. It's important for A&M to bounce back next week against Prairie View and put on a good performance. And then it's important to finish the year strong against LSU, because you're looking at that game that's right about Thanksgiving. And, the early signing period is just a couple weeks after that. And so you want to be able to finish strong. But I don't think this loss will hurt from a recruiting perspective too much, especially, I mean, I know the defense gave up over 500 yards, but, there were plays where when you look at what DeMarvin Leal was able to do and what Michael Clemens was able to do at times, I think the defense still showed some things. And, at a certain point, they had only given up 13 points at halftime, despite just the way Ole Miss had dominated that game, especially in the first half. To only give up 13 points and be down 15-0 with the safety was a credit to the way that defense fought. They really kept them in the game, because this really could have been so much worse. As crazy as that sounds, and with the way things were going and the way Ole Miss was rolling offensively, the A&M defense really came up with some stops throughout the game. And so I think if you're a defensive recruit and looking at what A&M did on that side of the ball, I think there's still some things you're really gonna look back on and like. I know it hurts in this moment, to fall short of the goal of playing for an SEC championship game, but A&M really, I think, from a recruiting standpoint, delivered on the weekends that they needed to deliver on. If you look at what they were able to do the weekends of Auburn and Alabama and even South Carolina when they came into town, A&M kind of did what they needed to do from that perspective. And it's still a year where A&M has a chance to. There's still plenty that A&M can accomplish. Can still finish 9-3 at a certain point when you're looking at this season and looking at how you evaluate it with some of the injuries that A&M dealt with up front and at the quarterback position. Sitting at 3-2, I think there's a lot of A&M fans that would certainly take 9-3. 10-2 would have obviously been ideal to win out. It would have given plenty of momentum, but I still think there's a lot to play for. I think it's just important that they now respond, especially that week against Ole Miss or against LSU, because when you look at some of the targets that A&M is going for and battling the likes of LSU, when you look at a guy like Harold Perkins, to be able to sell back-to-back wins over LSU would be huge for A&M on the recruiting front, as they try to counter a new coach coming in there. Prairie View next week, it's important not to have a letdown, especially coming off this game, to turn the page, go week to week, and then finish strong in the bowl. And A&M still has a chance to reach 10 wins this season, which is something that they can sell on the recruiting trail. So I don't think you'll see A&M kind of struggle on a recruiting front this week. And shout out to Kansas and what they were able to do tonight to come in and That's a program that when you look at what they've done, especially playing, down to the wire against Oklahoma, to go on the road and beat Texas. Texas has got a lot to figure out, to be honest with you, and what's been going on there the past couple of weeks. They're now in real danger of not making a bowl, and so that's really one that's going to sting, especially bringing in a big visitor weekend should ease the sting for A&M fans on the loss tonight, but A&M will look to kind of turn the page and get back on a good note against Prairie View, and they'll certainly be a lot to play for there. It'll be the last game in front of the home crowd for this year, so Kyle Field will be rocking for that one as well, and still want to finish out the year strong, and every week is an opportunity to play, and so we'll see. It kind of changes the goals and changes what A&M is kind of going for. No, it's not going to get you into a January 6th game, but there's still a chance to finish a year strong, and but if they being able to get to 10-2, you can still potentially get in. Like Ole Miss certainly kept their hopes alive of getting to a January 6th game, but I don't 9-3 can still get you to a solid bowl, and in a year that A&M had to replace a lot next week. I don't agree with that on nobody will be there next week. I think I think it'll still be a good crowd, and A&M will still have I think they'll still have a good turnout for that game. I mean, it's not the end of the world to be sitting at 8-3. There was certainly bigger goals for this year, and that's going to sting, and that's going to be disappointing. But I think in the long run, A&M will be fine. And it's a game to learn from, especially if you're Zach Calzada and you look at some of the mistakes you made. Again, can't throw late and can't throw inside, and he's just got to be able to read plays better and make reads quicker and get the ball out of his hands. And we'll see how A&M responds to finish the year.